Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, with special thanks to Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started.
I cannot stand demons. If I didn't already know your grandfather was one, I should never have sensed the demon blood in you. You're much too unremarkable.
And you come from Aasimar stock, Your Excellency. But I'd say we're each about as angelic as the other.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. Also, I want to say it's pronounced Aasimar with like a Z sound, but Darren is probably the other thing, too. I don't even mean to say that as an insult. I think Darren would proudly own that title. Anyway, welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. As today, we look at tying up a few new loose ends before we continue our push towards Dresden. Obviously, last time we picked up a new unlikely ally and his surprisingly small entourage. So we're going to go ahead and swap Regil in, which means Sela, unfortunately, is now benched. I am going to miss her. But I am very keen on seeing what Regil's hot takes on the upcoming adventures might be, especially once we start getting into the actual trickster stuff. That should be fun. Now, I will note that I did, of course, do some off-screen bookkeeping between episodes. We had 5 scattered forces after the Reliable Redoubt, so I went ahead and consolidated them. But more notably, in shuffling the armies, I inadvertently discovered a location we missed, the Nightingale Grove, which I was aware of, but I thought it was further north, past the Nameless Ruins. Regardless, with that in mind, I'm thinking today our plan is to basically clear the east side of the Salin River, the starting zone, so to speak. With the sole exception of the Conundrum Unsolved, because we don't actually have the puzzle pieces for that one just yet. Nightingale Grove. This inconspicuous grove near the border of the World Wound is nearly untouched by the foul energies of the Abyss. The rare traveler who dares pass through here can enjoy the songs of the nightingales in the trees, only to remember too late that the last birds fled this region long ago. That's fine. I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. Alright, first things first, let's get a full set of buffs up. We'll have to rest on the way back anyway, so no need to hold back. Okay, buffs are set. Let us proceed. Hello there. Marauders. Get your hands off that. It's mine. Yours. Well, watch me. Wait, someone's here. Run! Nobody's running. Draw your weapons and fight, you cowards, or I'll cut you down myself. Regil, we found your long-lost twin. Oh, and he's gone. I'm sure we'll never see him again. Okay, this looks to be a fairly straightforward fight. They do have the jump on us, but they're so far away, they'll have to spend their entire surprise round closing in. Their leader's obviously still on the map somewhere, he's just invisible. We do have See Invisibility cast on our entire party, but he's also under stealth, so we'll still have to pass perception checks. I'd say the Alchemist is our biggest threat right now. We'll just zoop right past this front line, see if we can take that guy out as quickly as possible. Nice. I would have liked to take him out in a single round, but I can certainly work with that. Light ding on Vex and Kaz, but not a big deal. Better them than the entire party. Oh, hey. Well, that's just bad luck. For him, I mean, not us. Alright, let's go for the leader. Nice. Aside from the Alchemist and the Barbarian, I'd say the leader was our only other real threat here. Speaking of whom.
Retreat is not an option. You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Nice, nice. Oh, the Alchemist died. Right, that must have happened when he pitched a bomb at us at point-blank range. That'll happen. That is why Silverleaf was a Grenadier. Directed Blast doesn't provoke. Too angry to sleep.
Out of my sight.
Not too angry to die, though. I'm glad Regil got some play there. His movement's actually not that bad. They changed him to be a hasty halfling, so now his base movement is 30. Though he's still no match for the sheer mobility of Risk or Kaz, of course. Alright, that just leaves Regil's evil twin. Eviler? More chaotic. Nicely done. Let's do a quick blanket heal.
Missed me already.
And now comes the looting. A recipe for moss pottage, and a bevy of magic items. Let's see. Momentum. +2 light hammer. On crit, the entire party is affected as if by a haste spell. Man, it is a crying shame that's not a gnomish hooked hammer, because that would be an instant give for Regil. We also pulled Blood Clarity, a Cloak of Resistance +2, which grants temporary immunity to mind-affecting conditions upon landing a killing blow. Which is also pretty solid. That'll either go to Vex or Regil, of course. Okay, yeah, it's gotta be Regil. His will save is garbage. Though I believe he will eventually get some class bonuses that'll help with that. Let's see what else we've got here. Lots of pretty decent vendor trash. Plus crafting ingredients. A letter to a noble crusader. Which I did read back in the beta, and as I recall, has no bearing on anything immediate. So we'll set that aside. That'll be in the pile for the 4th reader episode. Ooh, and magic essence. Nice to have, but not much use until Act 3. I think that's it. Wow, that did not eat much of our time. Yeah, back in the beta, they tossed you the first set of puzzle tiles in Canabris at Topaz Solutions. But I'm not sure where they shuffled them in the actual launch build. Out towards Dresden, maybe? We'll grab this while we're here. Normally we pull up to 3 of each ingredient. I wonder why we didn't... Oh, I see. We failed both of the related skill checks. Yeah, that'll do it. Maybe I should just avoid the ingredient nodes until we shore up those skills a bit more. It's not like we're really hurting for crafting ingredients right now. Let's grab a quick nap.
You have the power to heal and the power to maim. Don't you regret that your goddess made you a killer?
I only regret that the goddess didn't grant me the power to silence unwanted noises.
Careful there, Seela. That's not going to get you off the bench any quicker. Alright, let's head back out. Now we're headed out to Chili Creek. We'll have to rest at some point, probably on the way back. Oh, let's bring our main army up as well. Yeah, I think that's a good spot. We don't want to push them up too far just yet. Oh, right. I should also note that because we recruited Regil, we also acquired a small number of Hell Knights. We would have gotten more if we had agreed to hand over the Order of the Sunset Sword to him, but because we did not, we instead got about a dozen clerics, I think, who I've already added to our main army. Sure, why not? I'm always happy to accept some unplanned loot and XP. This looks pretty basic. We'll just do some token buffs.
Yes?
Hang back, Walja. We didn't set his mage armor, so his AC's too low. Ow.
Cover me, all right?
Jerk. That was 110 experience points and 200 gold. Not too shabby for a minute's work. Carcass of an unknown creature. Yeah, we'll hold off on that. Crafting ingredients will be a lot more important once we hit level 9. That's when we're getting brewing for Darren. Chilly Creek. A sleepy fishing village outside the World Wound. A quiet place on the bank of a lazy river, where nothing interesting seems to have happened since its founding day. Sounds nice. Well, that was odd. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm gonna say that bears investigating. But before we do, let's get a full battery of buffs up. We're resting on the way back anyway. That should be adequate. I suppose we should start with this. A small doll made of grass is tied to a tree with a dark blue ribbon. 3 old dolls hang from the branches. Their grass and seaweed bodies are slowly rotting away. Oh, and we've got Jernaugh. I guess we should talk to him before we get too sidetracked. Jernaugh walks thoughtfully around the grove. He pauses in front of a few trees, lingering there for some time. He seems to be examining something carefully. At the sound of your footsteps, he turns around abruptly, but the anxious expression on his face quickly gives way to an amiable smile. "Commander, it's so good to see you. It seems you found time to visit our quiet backwater after all." "Yeah, I guess so. You seem kind of jumpy. Everything okay out here?" "Oh no, you startled me, that's all. It's my overactive imagination. I still can't get used to living in such a small village. The town where I grew up was a good deal larger, and it was located near a trade route, so there were always lots of new faces, and plenty of people bustling around. Here, though, it's different. The moment you step outside the village, you're all alone. You can walk for miles in any direction, with only the birds and animals for company. This is, of course, the way Erastil teaches us to live. But truth be told, it still makes me feel somewhat uncomfortable." "What's up with those trees you were staring at?" "See for yourself." He points to one of the branches, and among the leaves you notice a small doll made of grass and seaweed, tied with blue ribbons. I keep finding them here in the grove. I think it's some kind of local ritual. I've asked the villagers to tell me what it means, but they won't give me an answer. I just don't understand the reason for all this secrecy." "Yeah, that's not weird. So how are you liking it out here?" "I'm getting used to the way of things. I still get the occasional sidelong glance from the locals, but that's not surprising. After all, I'm just some stranger who decided to show up without invitation and settle down in the village. But the church warned us about this. Such caution is to be expected at first. I just have to do my best to earn their trust. I heal, I purify the water, I give blessings. Sooner or later, they will accept me as one of their own. It's so quiet out here. That's quite a change from what I've been getting used to. I understand. My time in Canabras gave me a small taste of war. I only had to live through it for a few days, but I know that the horrors I witnessed will haunt my nightmares for years to come. I cannot imagine how hard it is for those like yourself, soldiers who have given their lives to this cause. The priest places a hand on your heart. You have chosen to fight there in order to protect our peaceful and quiet life here, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yep, big damn heroes, ain't we just? So what do the locals make of Erastil? They're indifferent. They are pragmatic people, you know. They don't have time for theology. If old Deadeye helps them survive, that's good enough for them. You know, some priests get overzealous with sermons. They demand that people pray, observe all the rituals, make sacrifices, and then those priests, all holy and pious, are surprised when locals kick them out of their village, right into the nearest ditch. The priest laughs. I was taught differently. First, you have to prove your worth. You have to show them why you and your deity are useful. It's only after they've begun to trust you and start asking questions about your faith that you can really share your beliefs. Then you can tell them all about old Deadeye and his teachings. Cool. So you, want to show us around, or? Of course, let's go. You'll get to meet the locals, see how we live. Maybe you'll even manage to get some peace and quiet, a temporary respite from the hardships of war. Well, now that we've got Jernaugh tagging along, I guess we shouldn't do anything too dangerous. So we'll just push up the path, check out this village, and then we'll canvass the surrounding forest.
Cover me, all right?
We'll also stock up on meat and pelts on the way there. I mean, we are a hunter after all. Old, faded blue ribbons hang from the branches of the tree. A piece of gray ribbon hangs from the branch. Very, Blair Witch. Well, this is unusual. Nothing of note. Oh my. Yep, let's get in there. That'll teach you to mess with us. A man with green eyes, the broad shoulders of a swimmer, and the calloused hands of a fisherman shakes his fist at the beast's motionless carcass. Something's got 'em all worked up. That's the second time they've crawled out this month. So let 'em come. A woman, her eyes the same shade of green as the fisherman, smiles at you. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last. But what's it matter? They can't hurt us, and we can use their hides to make a lot of waterproof coats and cloaks. Markyll, Malessa, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This is Vex Gottlieb, the commander of the Crusade. He's the one I told you about. Ah, a real hero in our little backwater. It's so nice of you to drop by. We've never had anyone so important come to visit. Heroic acts are important, but Sometimes it's good to leave the front lines and talk to ordinary people living ordinary lives. Anyway, welcome to Chili Creek. This thing went down pretty easy. They're usually a whole lot tougher than that. I can tell you have an eye for such things. Well, of course he does. He's the commander of the crusade. He probably could have told you all that with his eyes shut. Malessa smiles at you. It's all thanks to our mother, Icy Rill. She takes care of her children, won't let anyone hurt them. She fills our nets with fish and drives away the monsters. Hello, Ellie. That's right. And if she don't drive the beasts away, she'll weaken them, so we can kill them and harvest their hides. Icy Rill? That's her right there. Markyll nods toward the river. Did you think this was the Salin? No, it'd take a half a day's rowing by boat before you reach that river. It's big, to be sure, and it's very important. The Salin flows through at least a dozen countries. But where would the great Salin be if it wasn't fed by thousands of streams and creeks, such as our dear Icy Rill? The people of Chili Creek hold the river in great reverence. The priest's observation is matter of fact, but you notice his voice sounds a bit strained. How can we not? Our whole lives are built around the river, from the wedding wreath we send down its stream to the funeral boat that floats away on the waters when the time comes. Our mother, Icy Rill, feeds us, gives us water, protects us. With a kind smile, Markyll casts a sidelong glance at the frowning priest. The gods are far away, but our Icy Rill is right here, so we treat her with respect. That wrecked boat downstream may have been a funeral boat. Siblings, right? Right you are. Markyll ruffles Malessa's hair. She laughs and tweaks his nose. She's my little sister. Takes after our granny, may her memory never fade. She was always restless, couldn't sit still, and Malessa is just the same. She's always up to something. And you took after our grandpa. May the river silt be his feather bed. You're as brave as he was, and just as stubborn. Couldn't help but notice you two handled yourselves pretty well against this thing. I take it you're in charge? Well, how should I put this? Our village is too small for anyone to be in charge. We just happen to know a thing or two about using a weapon, so if some nasty critter comes crawling out of the river, we give the orders. But when it comes to fishing or fixing nets, we'll be the ones following orders. We're not an army, and there's no officers here. We all live together, solve our problems together, and serve the Icy Rill together. Although, truth be told, it's only been the last few years that people have really started listening to us. Before that, the villagers kept to themselves, and no one wanted to go poking their noses into anyone else's business. When we first came up with the idea to start trading on the river, the other villagers stubbornly dug in their heels. But after money and goods began to flow into the village, they changed their minds. Yep, the village has been growing. We're getting to see all sorts of things we only ever heard about before. The year before last, we had a fair, and people came all the way from Canabris to attend. And we'd never seen one of those before in these parts. And now, who'd have thought? The commander of the Crusades has decided to pay us a visit. Ah, shucks, it's nothing. I was in the area. Hey, what are those dolls hanging from the trees we passed on the way in here? A shadow passes over Markyll's face, and he looks away. There's nothing much to tell, really. An old local custom. Well, that is quite a sudden shift in his demeanor. It's just a ritual, Malessa adds in a low voice. No one seems willing to share any further details with you. Yeah, that's not weird. So, how are things out here now that you've got your own priest? Not much has changed. Markyll shrugs and smiles amiably. He's a good lad. He does some healing, never bothers us with sermons. Why, he's even learning to fish in his spare time. He also knows a lot of songs, and when he sings, it makes you want to sit down and listen. Malessa smiles archly at the priest, and he blushes. Oh my. You guys are right on the edge of the world wound. You never have trouble with demons out here? Nope, we've never seen any. Our mother, Icy Rill, keeps us safe. She would never let such abominations get near us. Fair enough. Alright, well, it's been a pleasure chatting, Markyll, Malessa, but I guess I'd better get going. Back to the front. Malessa shakes her head sadly. I can't even imagine the nightmarish creatures you have to fight there. Have a safe journey, and a swift victory. I will certainly try, but I'm pretty sure we've still got like 70 or 80 episodes ahead of us, so... You know, swift is a relative term. Alright, let's have a quick gander at the village, see if we can find any clues. Then we'll canvass the surrounding wilderness.
This is my kind of work.
Well, that's promising. Oppressor's Gloves. +2 on persuasion skill checks made to intimidate. And on crit, the enemy suffers a -2 penalty on saves versus mind-affecting conditions. Not bad. We'll toss that right to Regil, since I have already started leaning him towards an intimidation build. At level 9, he'll be able to frighten people just by hitting them. Plus, this makes him look extra spiky, and I'm sure he appreciates that. Though it does beg the question of why something like this was sitting right on the coastline of this fishing village. It does seem slightly odd. I caught this pike the other day. It was as big as a crocodile. It's been a cold year. Let's see what else we can find around here. A potion of protection from good. We'll try not to read too much into that. Markyll, Malessa. Look, the commander's back. Welcome back. Please, stay here for as long as you'd like. So, how are things around the village? Not much happens in the village. I'm sure you have a lot going on, and stuff is always happening in the cities, and on the front lines. But things are pretty quiet out here. But let's see, what's the latest news from our little village? Well, we went fishing and caught some ruff. They were big, too. Nice and plump, fat as piglets, I tell ya. What else? Weevils have eaten through our carrots. They gobbled up everything down to the last stalk. Then, the other day, old Bragg went up to fix his roof and took a hard fall. If it hadn't been for Jernaugh and his prayers, he'd have kicked the bucket by now. No doubt about that. You must think it's ridiculous to call any of this news. Also, Jernaugh is just downright wonderful. I don't know, maybe his prayers are working, or maybe he just has a lucky touch. But whenever he blesses me, I always catch a boatload of fish. Also, he sings like an... Enough already. Markyll frowns. Jernaugh this, Jernaugh that. It's all I ever hear you talk about. Intriguing. I'll add that to my notes. So what gods do you guys worship out here? Faith, religions, deities. With all due respect to Jernaugh, no one out here has time for such things. Maybe people in the city can go around saying prayers and listening to sermons, but in a backwater place like this, we're just doing what we can to survive. There's only one provider and protector for us. Our mother, Icy Rill. Markyll nods toward the river. Yeah, the river don't care about prayers or sacrifices, and if Icy Rill wants something in exchange for her help, she just takes it without asking. Malessa stares pensively at a piece of driftwood as it's carried away by the current. Oh, that's interesting, too. I don't remember her saying that back in the beta. You know, I have been getting some really trippy dreams since I came out here. Do you guys have any trouble with that? Nightmares or anything? Don't know what you're talking about, if I'm honest. I sleep like a dead man. Nothing to complain about. Interesting. Though, technically they are outside of the world wound, as they noted. Safe travels. May you defeat all your enemies. And don't forget, you're always welcome here. Let's check for more clues, but I am starting to formulate some thoughts. Fairy Tales of Amistan. We've read that one before. That's about Rovagug, the god of destruction. The Notes of a Traveling Priest Against the Coven by Tyrandine. I don't believe we've read that one before. It's pretty lengthy. I'll save a full reading for a future reader episode. But let's at least skim through this thing, see if there's any potential clues. It's about a village being plagued by hags. That is very on the nose. I mean, hags would have a vested interest in a small, isolated rural village like this one. Veil of positive energy. That doesn't really match the theme of what we've been finding so far. Jade. Let's get those recipes transcribed. Jernaugh? This is the way we live out here. We're not wealthy, but things are at least relatively quiet. Mostly repeated dialogue, but... Jernaugh, have you been having any weird dreams out here? No troubles with the nightmares here. The village is located on the outskirts of the world wound, so perhaps that's why? Yes, you sound very convinced. I'll, catch you later, Jernaugh. Arast will help you. The dream question seems like it comes out of left field, but it must mean something. Maybe that this place is under protection of some sort of other worldly force that wards off the dreams? Oh. Well, that's awkward. I guess he'll come through this gate. Nope, never mind. That gate is non-functional. So I guess we're headed to the other gate. Or we could just kill it.
You called the wrong monk.
Which wasn't enough. Apparently there's more we can't say. You know what? We'll just go real time for this. Otherwise it's going to take way too long. Oh, well, that works too. Okay. Let's go grab those last couple of items, then we'll pop out and finish them off.
Pretty good, aren't I?
Nothing of note. Let's go wipe out that wolf pack. In fact, we'll just canvass the entire wilderness area while we're out here. Hi. There we go. Modest XP and loot gain.
Close ranks.
Ooh, Alpha Wolf. And there's the one we shot down earlier. Sorry, doggo.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
So we are seeing signs that there are dangerous creatures just outside the village. Much like the dreams, that does give the impression the village is under some entity's protection. The large number of wolves does kind of remind me of the ranger, the werewolf ranger from Kingmaker. I want to say Ivan? He pretended his village was being protected by a silver dragon. But in reality, it was just him using his powers to influence the local wolf packs. Oh, we've got more. That's fine, we'll just hunker down, wait for it to come at us. There we go. Nice. Didn't hit a single exploding gland.
Distract them from me.
Oh my. Oh, we just saw a plague Smilo. Which I suppose is what must have killed all those wolves we saw on the way in. That actually does reinforce the idea that the wolves are protecting the village from outsiders. But I don't think they would repeat the same twist 2 games in a row. Ooh, a plagued bear. On top of another plagued Smilo. This This could get messy. Oh, wow. That plague bear is way more fragile than I thought it would be. Ow. Zorm at 40%. Excuse me? Where do you think you're going?
I will see to your demise.
Darren.
Time to share your treasures.
Nicely done. A few nasty hits on Zorm, but otherwise that was pretty painless. I guess that's it. That's the only sign of any real corruption we've seen out here. Alright, let's fill in that last gap and I think we're done.
Retreat is not an option.
Whoops.
You won't survive me.
Alright, guys, come on.
Precision and grace.
Thank you, Waldif. And yeah, I guess that's it. I think that's all we can do here for now. As I stated back in the beta, I think this is one of those things we'll just have to come back to later. A straw doll, clad in a small, skillfully embroidered light blue dress, is tied to the trunk of this tree. That, I think I said it on the way in, but that definitely gives me very strong witchcraft vibes. The most obvious explanation would be hags. I mean, that book basically spelled that out for us. But I don't know a lot about hags. I think they're vindictive fae. But we'll see where this goes. Anyway, I think we're at a good break point. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll do another lap around the map just to make sure we didn't miss anything. And we will pick up here next time as we go collect our errant scribe and then check out those nameless ruins. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
You're much too unremarkable.